Modern life is so fast-paced that it can be difficult to keep a healthy balance of nutrients in the food you eat. Sugar is one of these nutrients, and the cells in the body would die without it. Consuming too much sugar, however, raises the risk of several dangerous health problems, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, increased pressure on the heart and blood vessels, and dental decay. It is estimated that the average person in the United States consumes around 19.5 teaspoons, or 82 grams of sugar, per day. That is over double the amount recommended by the American Heart Association, AHA, which is 9 teaspoons per day for men and 6 teaspoons for women. To keep control of sugar levels, it can be helpful to know just how much sugar is in the most widely available foods. This MNT Knowledge Center article is a one-stop resource listing the sugar content for a range of both processed and natural foods that people in the US eat every day. Fast facts on added sugar. Men should eat no more than 9 teaspoons of sugar per day and women no more than 6. Chocolate bars, sweet cereals, and soda often contain high levels of added sugar. Fruits contain natural sugars that are less harmful than the sugar found in processed food. Regularly consuming too much sugar increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. What is sugar? Sugar is a simple carbohydrate that belongs to a class of chemically related sweet-tasting substances. It is available in many different forms. The three main types of sugar are sucrose, lactose, and fructose. Even though cells need glucose to survive, consuming too much can cause health problems. The AHA says that added sugars contribute zero nutrients and are empty calories that can lead to extra pounds, or even obesity, thereby reducing heart health. Being aware of the existing and added sugar content in foods and drinks is vital to overall health. So many products have sugar added to them that, in the modern food market, people must take extra steps to avoid consuming more than the recommended amount. In March 2015, the World Health Organization, WHO, published new guidelines recommending that adults and children reduce their intake of added sugars to less than 10% of their total energy intake. A further reduction to below 5% is associated with additional health benefits. The term free sugars refers to any glucose, fructose, and sucrose added to foods and drinks, as well as the sugars that occur naturally in syrups, honey, and fruit juice. The term does not apply to the natural sugars found in fresh fruit, vegetables, or milk because there is no evidence linking these sugars to health problems. A single teaspoon of sugar is around 4 grams. The AHA recommendation for daily added sugar intake, 6 teaspoons for women and 9 teaspoons for men, is equal to 24 grams and 36 grams of added sugar, respectively. Sugar content. Below are some common everyday foods and drinks, listed with their sugar content. This aims to give guidance when making dietary choices. The sugar content of some of the following items may be higher than expected. Chocolate bars. While there are less harmful chocolate options, such as dark or raw chocolate, there is a wide range of chocolate bars available on the market, and the sugar content varies between brands and products. A study published in Circulation, the Journal of the AHA, identified a link between drinking more than 1 can of soda a day and an increased risk of developing heart disease and diabetes. Breakfast cereal. In the U.S., breakfast cereals are among the most commonly consumed foods with high levels of added sugar. In June 2012, researchers from Yale Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity suggested that even though some cereals aimed at children had become more nutritious, cereal companies had increased their advertising spending considerably. Cereal advertising aimed at children increased by 34% between 2008 and 2011. Marlene Schwartz, Deputy Director of the Rudd Center, said, "While cereal companies have made small improvements to the nutrition of their child-targeted cereals, these cereals are still far worse than the products they market to adults. They have 56% more sugar, half as much fiber, and 50% more sodium. The companies know how to make a range of good-tasting cereals that aren't loaded with sugar and salt. Why can't they help parents out and market these directly to children instead?" Fruit. Fruits contain a type of sugar called fructose. Fresh fruit has no added sugar, but sugar levels range from 1 teaspoon per 100 grams in cranberries to over 3 teaspoons in grapes. All figures below show naturally occurring sugar per 100 grams serving. Keep in mind that consuming fruit is part of a healthy and well-balanced diet, and that the sugar in fruit has demonstrated adverse effects on health. To calculate the sugar content and overall nutrients of almost anything you can find in a supermarket, click here and enter the name of what you are eating or planning to buy into the search bar. Risk. The AHA has urged people to cut their intake of added sugar because of evidence that it can lead to the following health conditions. Obesity. A recent study in QJM found that eating more sugar and consuming artificially sweetened soda is associated with obesity. Heart disease. Research published in JAMA Internal Medicine investigated sugar intake and deaths related to cardiovascular disease. They concluded that most U.S. adults consume more added sugar than is recommended for a healthy diet. We observed a significant relationship between added sugar consumption and increased risk for cardiovascular disease mortality. Type 2 diabetes. Although sugar does not directly cause diabetes, individuals who consume more sugar than average are more likely to be overweight, which is a risk factor for type 2 diabetes. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, report that an excessively high proportion of the population is consuming too many calories from added sugars. A report published in 2013 revealed that nearly 13% of adults' total intake of calories comes from risky sources, such as sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Dr. Aseem Malhotra, a cardiologist, wrote in the BMJ in 2013 that dietary advice on added sugar is damaging people's health. Dr. Malhotra said, "Not only has this advice been manipulated by the food industry for profit, but it is actually a risk factor for obesity and diet-related disease. Currently, food labels in the US and Europe only contain information on total sugars per serving and provide no details about added sugar, making it almost possible for people to find out how much sugar was added to the food in processing. The good news, however, is that it will soon be required that food labels show added sugar. This will make it easier to calculate the quantity of harmful sugar in the diet. Some food companies have already adopted the new food labels that highlight added sugar.